What in the world is going on down on the plains at Auburn? We will get in there and discuss all of that tonight on Third and Three with the one and only Mr. College Football. We also are on Super Bowl week. So the Super Bowl is this going to be a Marlon favorite who played for the LSU Tigers, will be joining us tonight. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we give you the next hour of fun and excitement right here only on Third and Three on the CTS.
Big Three Super Draft. Yay, yay? Get the action you need with Big Three's official fantasy partner, Super Draft. Win cash and exclusive Caesars and Big Three experiences money can't buy. Where game changers collide, baby.
Not easy being the fastest quarterback you've never seen. I'll be right back. There's no quicker way to get into DFS. Play Super Draft today and see for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. What's going on, my man?
First off, what happened to the intro?
Dude, I don't know. That was all your doings because you own this one right here. So,
But before
leave it
you,
down there.
well. First off, before we do any show, we're gonna do our intro. Damn, Sting, I don't sit there and edit these intros and then you just this is why I direct. Sting, 5 across the eyes.
Okay.
5 across the eyes. I'm just playing.
You doing okay? You doing okay,
I'm
man?
good. I see you got a little bit of surprise down the bottom you didn't tell me about. That's not funny.
You got that right. He's gonna be after Mr. College Football tonight to give us his picks on the Super Bowl, my man.
He wants to take a break and then he don't want to take a break. Stupid ass. That's why nobody likes him. But what is going on in Auburn football, ladies and gentlemen? If you're gonna cheat on your wife, do not get caught. You know what? I want to get his input. Bring the jackass in. Comes the time, I want to know your input. If you're gonna cheat on your wife, do you try not to get caught, or do you go ahead and try? What would you do if you cheated on your wife?
Man, I thought this was your OnlyFans account, man. I didn't mean to log in. I'm kind of taken back a little bit.
What's up, dude?
I just paid $5.99 a month to see some pictures, and then you two jabronis show up. I clicked the wrong site. Y'all gonna have to excuse me. I'm not answering that question, bro. I'm married, 2 kids. Y'all can skip that question on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see who wears the pants in that family.
Listen, damn right.
So Stingray, fill the audience in. We got our guy back for a little while, at least for a day. He's sitting there. If y'all got him on Facebook, please follow Clemson Time on Facebook to see the physical and mental and verbal abuse he does to Xander.
I rarely get on Facebook. See, you're all getting confused. It's the Instagrams and the Twitters.
Well, I got you on Facebook.
That's because you got the cricket phones. You can't afford the media.
The man put sprinklers on his son while he was playing golf. Damn right. Stingray, go ahead.
Damn right. Y'all act like that's something bad. Hey man, when you're on the golf course, some things just tend to happen you're not ready for. So what do we do? We practiced our golf with the sprinklers in his face.
Right?
Close time. It's
What's
good
wrong?
to see you. It's good to see you back. Stingray, go ahead and fill the audience in about what happened on the planes. Did it? Hold on. Did it happen on the planes? Did he?
Yes, because apparently she's a staff member
Oh, so
on the team.
So he did it on the football field. Okay.
Did it really go down though? But did it go down?
I mean, that's what I have questions about because you have Auburn saying, whoa, we're going to do an investigation and nothing has happened until we get the investigation. But everybody else is out there in the rumor mill that it happened.
It happened.
Because they
That's
want
why
it.
I wanna
They
bring-
want it to happen. They want it to be true. Also, I'd like to point out that this came at a great time for the University of Alabama because their defensive coordinator got a DUI less than 24 hours before this news broke. So I ain't saying it's fake. I'm just trying to say Alabama might have planted this little rumor. But the girl did follow him from Boise State. Yeah, the wife saying it's a no-go. I don't really know.
Hey,
Cynthia, hold on. Cynthia Nelson asked the same question. Did he really cheat, or is Auburn so desperate to get rid of him that they made this up?
yeah, that's
I don't
what I
think
can't
Auburn made
figure
it
out,
up.
man.
I don't think Auburn made it up. I think Alabama made it up.
Why do you think Alabama made it up?
I'm sorry. This is a rivalry. All right. Kind of like me and your blinds behind you. We just don't get along from
Those
day
blinds
one.
are $100. I'm not gonna
you
tell
got
you
ripped
again.
off. I got some. Okay.
You know those damn blinds are expensive. Hey, but listen, Alabama didn't have nothing to do with this. Alabama football don't. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
picking on your little 2-year-old sister when you're 17. It doesn't make no sense. Look,
Right
the
after
game,
the defensive coordinator getting busted with a Dewey. Come on, man.
hey, everybody has.
Hey, I'm not judging the man.
Whoa. When you work under Nick Saban, you deserve a drink every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not judging the guy.
I'm not judging him.
I should probably have about 20 under my belt, but I mean, I just think it comes at a great time when instead of people talking about the defensive coordinator getting a DUI, magically all the mics are now on the planes talking to Auburn magically.
But I will tell you, I disagree with that because I'm going to take it in another situation here. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it to another place. If you guys will remember, we got to be careful about this because of the guidelines. But if you will remember, all fall, a lot of news organizations were really dogging Brian Harsin and Auburn because of the vaccination situation regarding Brian Harsin. With this being an issue, could a news media outlet have placed this to go on ahead and run him off from the planes?
Listen, whoa. Time out. Hold on.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch. But
this is what happened, Sting. Brian Harsin had a very attractive young lady working for him. He did what a man does. Hey, listen, a man is a man, okay? Even if you coach under an overrated football team, he's a man. He made a mistake. But luckily, he's got a lot of zeros in his checking account. His wife's gonna forgive him. He's gonna move on. It's gonna be just another thing that happened in his marriage because he's gonna buy his wife a diamond ring, like rest in peace, Kobe. But just like Kobe Bryant did, is everything's gonna be okay in his marriage. If not, that she's gonna be a very rich woman. Either way, she's gonna be a very rich woman. You just got to look. I'm an Alabama fan. I feel bad for him. He got caught. You shouldn't have got caught. You got caught.
How did he get caught, though? It's just rumors.
He got caught.
How did he get caught? How did he get caught?
Come on, dude.
You got pictures.
I don't know how he got caught. He didn't call me and tell me.
He didn't get caught. He didn't get caught. It's a rumor mill right now. He didn't get caught. This is America.
He got caught. I will bet you $10 right now. I would bet you $10 it's going to come out that he had a.
Well, you can just refund me for that OnlyFans account I just got hacked into getting. Them thinking it was you. I was trying to support you.
You was trying to. Did you just say you was trying to hack into an OnlyFans account? That
yours.
I
thought it was yours. I was trying to help raise some money for those blinds, and then Sting sent me a thing. It's like, yo, it's Joey's OnlyFans account.
All right.
So hold on. Listen. Let me go ahead and do this thing. You know, to to get in detail with this mess is going on in Auburn, Stingray got a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, ESPN analyst Tony Barnhart. Tony, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Tony,
Thank you.
we're gonna do this real fast. We got Clemson time. We got Stingray. We're all concerned about what's happening in Auburn. I'm sorry, I said that with a straight face. We're all kind of amused by what's going on at Auburn University. Tony, what have you heard? What do you know?
Well, I don't know much more than anybody else knows. And there's been good reporting coming out of Auburn. What we don't know is there a smoking gun? Is there something other than the players, what they had to say? You had players who supported him, players that didn't. What have they found from talking to coaches who have left? What have they found out from players who have left? And that's what you don't know. You don't know if there's a smoking gun to fire him with cause or without cause. And that's what we don't know yet. And that's what's going to play out, I think, in the next 48 hours or so.
As of right now, we know she's an assistant, but what happened? What was, I guess Clemson Tom asked this a while ago. What was the smoking gun?
Yeah, the smoking gun. I don't know anything about any relationship that he had with any people. And I don't know anything about that. What I do know is that there are players who were not happy and players who felt they weren't treated well. If that is in fact the case, then Auburn's going to have to do something about that. But you always have to remember, guys, there were players who also supported him as well. So there's just a lot that we don't know right now.
Right.
Well, you brought up the fact that players weren't treated well. You got Bo Nix transferring to Oregon. You just said that players are not being treated well. Could this be? This is just a conspiracy among three friends here. Could it be that this is maybe a conspiracy from Auburn to get rid of him for the poor season he had?
I don't think there's any question that Auburn is investigating deeply to see what their liability is going to be. It's hard to imagine him being able to go back to Auburn in the atmosphere because it's been so toxic. But I've done this a long time. I've seen just about everything you can see. So nothing is going to surprise me, however this gets resolved.
Well, let's just say that they do let him go. Who do you ultimately think would be a good candidate to take that job?
Well, first of all, people have asked me, will it inhibit their ability to hire a new coach?
Right.
Not really.
Right.
Because Auburn is still Auburn. Auburn still has despite this situation, Auburn still has a lot going for it. It's a job that a lot of people want. And there is no question that they will have no shortage of applicants. There will be a movement to get Kevin Steele in that job because that's who a lot of the big money guys wanted last time. You've heard Hugh Freeze's name come up. Hugh Freeze has proven himself offensively. He did it at Ole Miss, okay?
Right.
And so he's proven himself. Now, last time he decided to get back in the league, people let it be known that the time was not right. Is the time right? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. But I do know that Hugh Freeze is a good football coach.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, you can joke about the similarities between Hugh Freeze and this situation, but if Auburn gets Hugh Freeze, the SEC is in trouble. I mean, you got Coach Kelly at LSU, you got Nick Saban in Alabama, and then you're going to have Hugh Freeze back in the SEC. The biggest rival for Alabama, Auburn is going to be a powerhouse.
Yes.
Now, I'm stating it right now. People can disagree all you want to, but Hugh Freeze, you saw what he did at Ole Miss.
Yes.
Clemson time.
You're muted, man.
You're muted, you dummy. Sting, right?
You're muted.
Go ahead, Sting.
Sorry, don't know what happened with Clemson Tom there. But, like you were saying, on the front of Hugh Freeze, do you feel like that he has done enough since the Ole Miss scandal to basically put himself in a prime position?
Yeah, I get the sense that things are different now. Now, it may absolutely fool me, but I think Hugh Freeze has done a good job at Liberty. In the interviews that I've had with him, he He understands what the situation is. I think at the end of the day, he will coach again at this level, but we don't know, guys. You never know about this stuff until people sit down and start figuring. All right, you can speculate till the cows come home, but you don't know until there's an opening at Auburn. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Tony, we know we got a short time with you, but we got a comment from the audience. I want to see what you got to say. If he had an affair with a staffer, then the contract is probably null and void due to morality clause. Is that true, Tony?
I don't know that is true. Every contract is different, and I wouldn't want to speculate. Not having any more information that's out there, I would not want to speculate on that.
All right, Clemson Thomas, you're up, man.
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we got you, man.
All right, gotcha. Just kind of spitballing some different coaches' names out there. What do you think the odds are that Urban Meyer would come back into the college football world, and maybe even Auburn at this point if something were to happen?
I don't see that happening. I do not see that happening.
Like at all?
No.
Like at all? Even nowhere?
No.
I think he's pretty
Too much history. Too much history.
He does have a lot of baggage.
Now that I've said that, probably happened. So, but no, honestly, given everything that he's been through, I do not see him coming back to the SEC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm not pulling for this because I like Hugh Freeze. I think he's a great guy. Stingray adores him. I think he's a stand-up guy in my opinion. I mean, people make mistakes. I make mistakes. I don't judge. I will laugh at you if you coach at Auburn. However, if Auburn gets Hugh Freeze, I'm hoping that he does not take that job. I hope he stays at Liberty or he goes to another school, because if he goes to Auburn will be a great football team. And I'm telling you, just like Coach Kelly at LSU. LSU is the next powerhouse in SEC. That's just, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. Stingray, I know you disagree with that. Go ahead, Sting.
Okay, let's move to another big topic this week. That is the Super Bowl. Real quick, Mr. Barnhart, can you break that game down for us and give us your pick?
Well, all I can share with you guys is Sunday is one of my busiest days of the year during football season. So I watch very little pro football. I do say this: when the playoffs start, you got me. I'm paying complete attention.
Yes.
And I like the Bengals in this game for one reason and one reason only, and that's Joe Burrow. I mean, ever since the first time I met this guy at SEC Media Days, I've been sold. He's got it. Whatever it is, he has it. And I just got a feeling he's going to find a way to get them. Now, it's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it. But I like the Bengals and Joe Burrow.
And my last question for you is this. We've got the NFL draft coming up again here in just a few months. Do you feel like it will be dominated by SEC players again?
Stephen, it's going to be dominated by the SEC players as long as we're alive, okay? Because the SEC is only going to get stronger, okay? One of you guys pointed out the fact that LSU is going to be a powerhouse, and I absolutely agree with that sooner rather than later. Ole Miss is getting better. Texas A&M is getting ready to go off on a nice little run here if they can stack a couple more recruiting classes on top. So, no, that is not going to change. The SEC is going to lead all conferences in draft picks. Why? Because the best players want to play there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be the ACC. Clemson Tom, you got one last question?
Yeah, real quick. Speaking of ACC, SEC, everyone always asks me about Dabo going to Alabama. Do you think that's ever going to be a possibility after Saban is going to retire?
I don't see it. I think Dabo's in a situation. He has built something really special there.
Yes.
I mean, they've gone 10 years in a row with 10 wins or more, something like that. I mean, that kind of consistency, and it's a great school. It's a great place to live. I don't see him walking away from that, even though it's home. I understand that. Right. I don't see him walking away from that.
I would agree with you.
He'll be a good offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Tony Barnhart. Tony, every time you come to the CTS, people go crazy. We appreciate you coming by, and thank you for short notice. Thank you for coming by. I'm really honored every time you come to the CTS to get to talk to you.
All right, guys, it's good to be with you.
Thank you, and enjoy this week.
I will. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
There we go.
Okay, well, there he is. Tony Barnhart, he put his input on the situation. Clemson time, this was a complete surprise to me that you came on today because I know Xander is winning a bunch of golf tournaments all around the world. You gonna stay for the whole show? You gonna stay for the whole show?
I just came on here to hassle you just a little bit, buddy. That's all it was.
I do have one final question.
Yeah, what's up?
Give us your Super Bowl pick for Sunday, please.
I'm gonna have to go with the Bengals. They got 3 of my Clemson boys on there. I know the Rams got 1, but man, it's the Rams. It's the Bengals have been just horrible when it came to just life. I mean, it's almost as bad as Joey. So you got to root for him. Joey is basically a Bengal, so in the end, I always want Joey to do good. Kind of like I want the Bengals to pull this one off.
Gotcha.
So Joey, here's this one's for you, buddy. You're almost as bad as Jackson Mahomes' TikTok, but not quite.
I guess I'm the only one who's got the Rams because I just don't know how you can beat the Rams right now this season.
It's out there,
and it's out there too, so it's home field advantage. So
yeah, but I mean, even with
that,
yes, it's home field advantage, but is it really? I mean, this isn't 8 p.m. in Death Valley. It's the Super Bowl.
Yes.
80% of the tickets go to sponsors and corporations and things like that. But I just like the Bengals. They've turned it on at the right time. But the Rams have built this team for this moment with a bunch of seasoned vets that want to get a ring, that know what it takes, and now they got there. But at the same time, it's also the year of the dogs. So you've got the Rams QBs, who's a graduate of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I just don't know. I honestly think it's going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to be pulling for the Bengals.
And dude, I know that Thomas, I know that you're going to be looking forward to that hip hop halftime show, my friend.
Oh, you absolutely. Are you kidding me? I grew up on Dre and Snoop, man, and Eminem kind of came in the mix like my junior or senior of high school. But yeah, no, that halftime show for the first time, and I can remember. Probably the last time I was this excited when I was 17 and Brittany was a halftime show, because Brittany still holds the key to this heart, buddy. But I'm pumped for this halftime show for sure.
I got 2 more questions before you go, because Xander's he's going all the way over the country, winning golf tournaments. How's he doing?
Good, man. We're about to finish up the Jacksonville tour. Just got back from Georgia. He's currently ranked 4th in that tour, and 3rd or 4th. And we're at a 3rd place by like 2 points. We've got a back-to-back tournament coming up in 2 weeks. So if this rain would ever stop, we can go back out there and hustle it out. Orlando tour's looking good, but he's gotten every place but 1st in this tour. He's got 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We just played golf Sunday up in St. Mary's, Georgia, which is right across the bridge from Jacksonville. It was 40 degrees, raining, horrible conditions. We had a bad day, but thankfully everybody had a bad day, and we still took home some hardware. But he got an eagle on a par 5 2 weeks ago. Took it 310 yards, put it in there. It was beautiful, man. So he's hitting that stride.
We say, we jive about each other, but the fact that you're doing this for your son just shows you how great a dad you are. You dragging, got 2 kids with you. You got your wife, Xander, my kid. And so, I appreciate you taking care of them. Tell your wife I said holla. And when you coming back?
Probably football season, man. Speaking of golf, he's on the wait list for the Canadian Invitational, as well as the European Championship. So we're waiting to hear from that. Should know something by the end of this month, early March, and still waiting on the Irish thing to come through. But with these big international tournaments, there's always like a wait list, but we're always
Tom,
in the top 5 of the wait list.
I got one final question, man.
Anything, boss?
You a college basketball fan?
No.
So you're
And I
not
know we're
going to
playing
watch
you is.
March Madness?
Oh yeah, when March Madness comes on, kind of like our boy from ESPN said, once it's the playoffs, I'm gonna watch. But I couldn't name you the starting 5 for Clemson right now. All I know is everyone hates Brad Burnell. That's it.
Well,
And
dude,
UNC's got some guy that looks like an 8-foot leprechaun. That's it.
Well, dude, hopefully we can have you back on to preview the Final Four and the national championship. And the
Probably down for that one.
All right.
Once March Madness happens, is what it is. Fellas, glad to be back,
All right,
Joey.
CT.
Glad you got a new mic, man. Y'all
Thank
good.
you, bud. Take it easy, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, pre-recorded interview. Now it's time to switch. We talked about Auburn. Now it's time to switch to the Super Bowl. And for you LSU fans, get ready because Marlon.
Marlon, you're right, Marlon.
That's what I said, boy. Come on, Sting. I know my football. Marlon favorite from the 2007 National Championship team, and he also won a Super Bowl with New Orleans Saints. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our pre-recorded interview. Oh, by the way, he's also an NFL Network analyst, and he also has a podcast, In the Trenches, with Big Fave. So let's go. Let's check him out.
Joey, as you can see, my friend, I've got the LSU stuff right back here. And remember, bro, it's Super Bowl weekend. So, bro, I got to ask you, are you excited that we have a Super Bowl champion on the show tonight?
You play for the Saints and you play for LSU. No. I'm a Falcons fan
Dude,
and an Alabama fan. Okay, it's like the time you put Jason Cameron on here. I told you, come talk to me before you bring these players on here so I can accept them and decline them. And you keep bringing all these greats from all these other schools. I don't even want to interview the guy.
Okay, one thing. You said you wanted to branch out outside of Alabama, so I thought that I could do that on this show. You've still
Also,
got an Alabama show rolling with the tide.
I also said I want to date Megan Fox, but you don't see me doing that. Let's introduce our guest.
All right, our guest played down at LSU. He is a national champion, a BCS national champion with LSU. He is a SEC champion and a Super Bowl champion, the one and only Marvin Favorite. And let me, before you bring him on, also say that he is a rapper, musician, and he's got his own album under the title Big Fave. Big Fave, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Ray, thank y'all so much for having me on, Stingray. And Joey, I'm going to forgive you because, I mean, it's just been so bad for y'all. Atlanta Falcons were terrible this year, and then Alabama didn't win a national championship. So I understand how you may feel right now, my brother, because the tide actually got rolled over. Man, sorry about that, man.
You lucky you're like bigger than me because I would have whooped your ass. What's going on, Big Faith?
Man, coolin', brother. Thank y'all so much for having me on the show. And everybody, and Ray, I can't not sting you either. No pun intended. Everybody from Alabama I talk to, they call me Marvin. I say, hey, it's Marlon. Well, we put a V. We replaced the V with the L. Hello, somebody.
So the Super Bowl's coming up. This is usually like the last question that we usually ask, but I mean, I'm dying here. Who are your picks? I'm picking the Rams, but Stingray's got the Bengals because of one of your alumni. I'm saying Rams. Who you got?
Well, it's kind of tough, right?
Before you answer, there's LSU players playing on the Rams too. So It's not
That's
just
what I'm
one.
saying. That's the tough part for me. As Tigers are on both sides, but at least Andrew Whitworth went to a Super Bowl before. Odell Beckham arguably has the greatest catch of all time. So let's let the young Tigers do their thing, and that's the Bengals. And Alabama shouldn't feel too bad because Jonah Williams is definitely starting to tackle for the offensive line, which added to the improvement of their line. So that shouldn't be bad for you Bama fans. But I'm going with the Bengals, and it's not so much because of just Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but I believe that these guys, and Tyler Shelvin too, let's take it inside the trenches. I believe that these guys have not only the chemistry to win a championship, but it's the Cinderella story that all of those guys over there believe in. Think about it. Before the draft or after the draft, when Jamar Chase was actually drafted, right? Think about that time. Oh, they should have went got an offensive lineman in the first round, this and that. And legit, that prolific offensive attack has walked them into the Super Bowl. So although I'm saying NFL, LSU across the board, it's no losers, but I mean Whitworth just they lost to the GOAT Tom Brady and them a few years ago, but the Bengals, I think it's a more interesting story if y'all get what I'm saying with the Bengals.
So let's talk. Speaking of, two of my favorite coaches of all time, at least in this recent history, Les Miles and Nick Saban. My first question is, what was Coach Saban like at LSU, and how was his coaching style different from Les Miles?
Well, Coach Saban was more by the book, straightforward. He would legit walk in a room and command the attention of the room. I can legit remember hearing pins drop when he walked in. He just really had this Scarface type mentality. He's a guy that he's not your favorite person, but you're gonna respect the hell out of Coach Saban. I have the highest because he cares about his players. He really does. And that's what I love about him. Practice was shorter with Coach Saban. Even on the days he got pissed and said start it over, that was the biggest difference. Like people like, man, what's the biggest difference between Les Miles and Nick Saban? And truthfully, for a guy like me, I only played for Coach Saban 1 year. I did 4 with Miles, so of course I won a national championship with Miles. We beat Saban, we beat Alabama. So I'm on more of the win ratio of Alabama because at the time frame I was at LSU. Besides the other, but Coach Saban, he had that personality, that Bill Belichick type personality. Whereas Coach Miles, he was more laid back, more conversational. His practices were extremely long, but he was a cool coach. Like, we talked about me doing the music. One thing that was interesting about Coach Miles, he embraced that. Like, he had us, my group, Black Venom, we performed at, like, the Sugar Bowl dinner, 06 and in 07 at the national championship dinner. Like, we had mics hooked up and we performed. And we had fun as a team. And we won both of those games. So that just lets you know that the element of winning isn't always this serious, strict, straightforward deal. Some guys could, have a great staff and at the same time have the personality to make it, how could I say, a fun, controlled environment to be in. So, that's the biggest difference.
I got 2 more questions. Everybody forgets, and I forget this a lot when I talk to former Alabama football players because they won so many national championships. A lot of times, when after you win a national championship, you go eat at the White House. What was it like meeting the president and eating at the White House?
Well, to be quite honest, I wasn't super favorable of our president at the time. Not to get political because it's president.
No, I understand, but you still got to visit the White House. But
that was the dope part. So it wasn't about the president, and at the end of the day, it was, President Bush. He was chill for the most part. I mean, obviously being from New Orleans, we had an emotional feeling about him with Katrina, but outside of that, talking to members from the Secret Service and just being, in and around the Oval Office, and me being a history minor, African-American history minor in college, I found it very interesting, like some of the artifacts and the different things about our country. So it was a great experience for someone like me And I just remember uh, just going out there and talking to the Secret Service guy, and he was like, "Yeah, we got about 40, 50 people in this area. We look around, we don't see nobody." Yeah, that's the point.
Well,
So I thought that was cool.
you brought it up in Black History Month. People don't realize, and Black History Month is very important in the South, because it's not just people don't realize that Black History Month is South history. That's our history. So, with you saying you're a minor in African American history, am I correct? So
That's correct.
What do you got to say about people like Medgar Evers right now, since it is Black History Month? What do you got to say about people like Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, the 3 kids that got murdered in Mississippi in June of 1964? People like that who paved the way for you as a young African American male to do what you do now, and who basically, paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, I think the biggest thing more than anything else, Joe, is I'm blessed and fortunate enough to have not only history paved the way for us, but the bravery of folks like Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, I mean, so on and so forth, Huey Newton. I mean, we could go down the list of different activists that really stood up. And you're right, it is our history. Look how far we've gotten so far in America. So we have a long way to go, but we've traveled so far to this point. And you talk about how they call it south of the Dixie, the southern states, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, all of those states that I named have been through so much over time. So, you appreciate it. And, to tie this thing back into sports, that's something that sports, it's no real racism in the locker room. Like, people compare, and I'm not saying in terms of the danger, but people compare the NFL to the military a lot, professional sports and collegiate sports, because of the parallels. When you're in that locker room or you're on that field, your brother to the left, to the right, think about it. It's a Caucasian quarterback, but he has a majority black offensive line. That dude has to trust those black guys. Vice versa, if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm double teaming a guy, I got to trust my brother next to me. We may be from a different ethnicity background. So I look at sports and what it does. You don't really start seeing all of the other clouded stuff around it until we're out of the locker room. So, I'm just grateful to not only know my history, know what my people been through, know what I've been through personally, the things I had to persevere as a young black man in America, but just super appreciative of, again, the forefathers of this. You mentioned Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I mean, we could go down the list of even inventors in our area as well. But, you just appreciate moving forward how things are going.
Right over your shoulder there, your LSU gear. I want to talk about the year 2007, because you guys had some amazing football games that year. All right, let's first start with you guys coming up here to Tuscaloosa, playing against your old coach, Coach Saban, and because he recruited you, and now he's coaching for another team. What were your thoughts going into that game? And talk about beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa, please.
Well, for starts, the emotions was high because a lot of us on that team, as you mentioned, was brought in by Coach Saban. But you also look at having a very emotional game before that one against Auburn on a bye week.
Yes.
So it was a whole bunch of build-up. And that's one unique thing about the LSU-Alabama game. I don't care how sucky Alabama is, which, and rightfully so, they haven't been sucky at all in recent years. And
No, we haven't.
Not at all. I mean, anytime you go to a national championship every other year, I don't care how much a rivalry are, you just respect a spade. A spade is a spade.
That's
and
right.
then at the same time, you have in recent years LSU seeing success. So those games, or even if they're playing bad, those teams still I don't care. That game is going to be a hard-fought game regardless. Look how bad LSU was this year. But we almost beat Alabama this year.
Right.
So that goes to show you about that rivalry and what it means. And just playing in the SEC, particularly at that time, that was my third year in college. So I had, fourth year. No, going into that, 07, yep. So going into that year, we had such a high bar.
Mhm.
We had a high, expectation ladder that year. We didn't approach that year like we was going to lose a game.
Right.
And that's how you lose 2 games in triple overtime and still win a national championship, because of that grit. Alabama displays this damn near every year. How
Mhm.
many times Saban has either lost to LSU, Ole Miss, lost to Texas A&M this year, and still made it to the national championship, because you know how good your team is and you believe in your system. And I think that's something we did on that team that year.
Well, you spoke about the loss. Talk about the Kentucky loss in 07 a couple of weeks before that. That was a hard-fought game, and especially going on the road up there at Commonwealth Stadium, a place and a team that is known for basketball. Talk about the Kentucky game that year.
The Kentucky game that year, and it's funny because throughout my journey in the NFL, I had teammates like Steven Johnson that bring up that particular game.
Mhm.
But what Kentucky was able to do, they had believed they were a team that could achieve beyond measures.
Mhm.
I remember Woodson constantly scrambling, creating time for his receivers to get open. I remember, guys like Dickie Lyons, who's from New Orleans,
Mhm.
the way he balled in that game. I mean, you're going against your home state team. You got an opportunity to really make a name for yourself.
Right.
And that defense, just how they didn't stop. One thing I don't forget about that Kentucky game was that meeting the Monday morning that followed the game. Before the game, we always get these sheets, the stat sheets that basically lay out how many plays you played, tackles, assisted tackles, missed assignments, so on and so forth. All that was on that sheet. Me and Glenn Darcy, we sit next to each other, and we looked at the sheet, and we both saw that we played at least 93, 94 plays that game. I have never played one football game that was almost 100 plays.
Right.
On defense. That's not the total plays in the game. That's just the snaps we had on defense.
Right.
So it just goes to show you the loneliest number in the world is number 1.
Mhm.
Everybody gunning for you when you're at the top. So, Kentucky, Arkansas, teams that, come on now, we went toe-to-toe with Florida that year. We went toe-to-toe with Auburn that year. Why are we struggling with Arkansas and Kentucky? That's
Right.
because those teams, I felt like, gave it their all
Mhm.
when we played them that year.
All right, I've got 3 questions left for you. The first one, you just mentioned it, the Hail Mary lob to Demetrius Byrd to beat Auburn with 1 second left.
That was a good day. That was a good day.
Talk about the excitement that erupted on the sideline and in Tiger Stadium when that happened.
That's a day I'll never forget. I wasn't looking. I was actually looking into the crowd. Me and Tyson, we were looking at the field and we saw, we're not going for it. Oh my gosh. So we turned and we looked into the crowd. So the reason I knew we won that game and Bird caught it was because of the crowd reaction.
Right.
It was just one of those games. Me and Demetrius Byrd. Demetrius was offensive player of the week, and I was defensive player of the week that week. That was probably one of my better collegiate games at LSU against Auburn. I think that's what this is. I'm pointing the wrong way. This one. So yeah, just a hype crowd. LSU was live that night. Man, that was a good year. Like 2007.
Yeah, it was a
You
good
agree
year
with
for
me,
LSU.
Joe? It was a good year.
It was a good
It
game.
was.
It was a good game. I
Yes,
don't
indeed.
particularly, for me, 2007 was a good year because well, 2008. I'm thinking of 2008. You saw the making of a greatness in 2008, but in 2007, it was growing pains. But yeah, 2007
Yeah.
had some great college football.
Coach Nick Saban is an eventually coach. Like
Yes.
eventually he was gonna make Michigan State a top program. Eventually, like Nick Saban built LSU from the ground up. Like
Mhm.
Coach DiNardo, he brought recruiting to LSU in that capacity and kind of got guys like Rohan Davey and but it was on Coach Saban to keep Rohan Davey and Ryan Clarks of the world
Mhm.
in that particular deal. So I'm just excited to see that. When we Scholar Green, I remember those guys used to always tell us how lucky we were when we first got to LSU. You see, y'all lucky because we used to stay in ECA, which was the older apartments. By the time we got there, the WCA was already built. And then by the time the next class got there, which was Coach Miles' first class, those guys had opportunity in the summer to move straight in those apartments as opposed to having to live in the dorms like we did. So, I look at it from that perspective and, those different challenges we had coming in and some of the perks that we had coming in as well.
Well, that makes me think. What was the team's attitude when Nick Saban left for the Dolphins?
We felt played initially. I mean, especially us in that recruiting class because, he sat down and he told all of our parents that he wasn't going anywhere. So not to say we're irresponsible enough to let that how could I say to let that emotional opinion slow it down, right? As opposed to understanding that it was business. I mean, he's at the top part where he had to leave Baton Rouge, right? And he went to Miami. And Coach Saban says this himself. He said the biggest mistake he made professionally was leaving LSU.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I used to get mad. Like I hate Bobby Petrino. I still to this day hate Bobby Petrino the way he left the Falcons. But I mean, on a side note, I don't make millions and millions of dollars. I've never been offered a million, a job for millions and millions of dollars. So to say what I would do if a coach,
Right.
just Coach Kelly going to LSU, just get up and leaving a top program that's number 6 in the nation to go to LSU. I've never been offered $400 million, $14 million to be coach for one season somewhere other school. So who am I to judge? I don't feed his kids. I don't feed his family.
Mhm.
And be honest with you, is you offer me $200,000 to leave my job to go dig a hole somewhere, I'm gonna take that $200,000. Hell, you offered me $1,000 right now. I'll say go Tigers.
There you go. And see what I'm saying? And that's the Fabulous said this one time since we were talking about music. One of my favorite rappers is Fabulous. Out of my 20, 30 favorite rappers, or guys I like to listen to, Fabulous said, "I'm having a problem dealing with wealth. You won't understand it until you had $1 million yourself."
Yeah.
If you never touched $1 million, you can't judge someone who has been a millionaire, like the type of pressure that comes with that lifestyle, what type of so excuse me, as a kid early on, when Coach Saban first said, "Guys, I'm leaving," at first we was like, "Well, damn, I thought he was staying." And if I remember correctly, he told us that during halftime that he was dipping. So that's the only bowl game that I lost in college.
But if you think about it, you got a great coach in Les Miles. It's not like you're. I mean, Les Miles is a great guy. I think you can tell. I've never met the man. You can tell he's just a great human being. If I was a teenager, if I was a high collegiate athlete, I would want to go play with Les Miles before I even want to go play with Nick Saban. Because I just see what type of guy he is.
Les Miles matched my personality better. Like Coach Saban was more strict. Like I wouldn't have been dropping albums with Coach Saban there. He wouldn't allow that. I don't think he would have allowed that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if I continued doing it, he'd have probably looked at it as something that me not being focused. Now, I don't think Nick Saban is like that now in the world of NIL and everybody being able to take advantage of their brand. But Coach Miles is like, yeah, I want y'all to perform. Tell Black Venom to come too. And I'm like, man, what college of a Power 5 coach at that time? Now it's a little different because times have changed, but we're talking early 2000s. Who would be ready to do that? So,
okay, LSU was always your dream team, correct?
Correct.
What did it mean to you as a person and as a player to get a ring in the BCS National Championship with LSU?
It meant the world to me because you grow up in a certain area as a kid. Everywhere you go, to the grocery store, out in the community, that's all they're talking about is LSU, LSU, LSU. So from a psychological standpoint, man, I would love to get an opportunity to go there, man, look like the man in my hometown, because it's an area you're familiar with. It's where your people, is nothing like home love, right? Where you lay your head at, they love you. And that's what LSU provided. And when we won that national championship, in my opinion, that's what kind of helped catapult the Saints to have that confidence the following, because we won in that in 07. The game was played in 08. The very next year, 09, the Saints that season went to the Super Bowl. That the game, like this picture here, this picture right here, that was my first day signing with the Saints. That was January 20th, 2010. So, looking at 12 years later, to this date, as a matter of fact, looking at that time frame and how everything, Louisiana through and through, so, and it's huge because we're big NFL team next to the Falcons that we have down here in the area. So if you're from Alabama, if you're from Mobile, you're probably a Saints fan. If you're from, Montgomery or close up north, you're probably an Alabama fan. So it's kind of like that. And then Auburn somewhere in between. Hello, somebody.
Right.
Professionally, you're either a Falcons fan or a Saints fan in the Gulf Coast. So that means something for the entire SEC when you go into the Super Bowl. Because when I got to the Super Bowl, I had teammates from Alabama. Like, I mess with Roman Harper all the time, especially when we beat him recently. Just to kind of get those guys a hard time.
Roman Harper comes on the show a lot.
That's my boy, man. Tell him y'all talk to Big Fave. That's my dog, man.
Okay. Well, we're about to we're trying to get him back on. He came on a couple of weeks ago and for another show, but he's been on CTS many times.
Yeah, all the time. He do his thing, man. Shout out to Roman.
Yeah, we love Roman.
All right, and my last question for you is this. Because this is Super Bowl week, tell us what it was like when the Saints went to the Super Bowl. What was that entire week like for you as a player leading up to the game?
To sum it up in one word, I would probably say magical. If you ever think of a story that could be told better, you just won a national championship. You're playing in the biggest game football has to offer in the world, the Super Bowl. And even as a practice squad player, as a rookie, what it meant. And at the time, New Orleans was just recovering from Hurricane Katrina. Like, Katrina hadn't hit like 3.5 years before. So that emotion was still around. And I remember what that was like. So I know what that did for the people in New Orleans, us winning that game. And for me, because I didn't play, because it wasn't really a personal goal to get off in that game, it was just to be a part of it. I think meant more than anything else, and that's why I call it magical, because the Patriots win another Super Bowl, and the Steelers went up, still won another Super Bowl. But for the Saints at that time, the franchise had been in shambles. Our fans were bags over their face. The city's high in crime, heavy in poverty.
Yeah, that was the good days when the Saints used to put the bags over the heads. I used to love those days.
And all of that stuff, you pour all of that together, and then Coach Sean Payton comes through, and Coach, Drew Brees who comes through and Mickey Loomis, and then they bring in this roster, and then they just really bring in this new culture here in New Orleans. And it wasn't to change the people or the area, but to bring a winning tradition to New Orleans. So that Super Bowl was really the height of that. Like that was the top, for the Saints at that point, and then the winning seasons after, it was a good time. So I look forward. And as it was just recently announced, Dennis Allen will be the Saints' next head coach. So, I look forward to seeing how that goes as well.
I've got a personal question for you, Marlon, please.
Ooh, a personal question.
What can we expect in the future with your musical talents?
You can expect a full album from Ballin' to Broadcasting.
Okay.
I was ready to release the album as an EP. At first, it was supposed to drop, but we're thinking
That's not
about
a personal
releasing
question.
it.
It's not a personal question. I thought you were going to ask him who he's having sex with or something like that.
No.
I hope
ahead,
this,
man.
but yeah, I'm excited about from Ballin' to Broadcasting, because being a musician and an athlete didn't always mix. So now is the time that this is actually a thing. Like, athletes are more than just people who dribble a basketball or tackle a quarterback or throw a football. These guys got hidden talents. And for me, I was always respected as an artist, but, to say at the mid-30s to drop your first full-length album, I've dropped group albums before. So from Ballin' to Broadcasting coming soon, everybody who's checking out my man, Joey and Stingray, y'all check me out on Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you stream your music. Right now, we got 3 of the songs out off of From Ballin' to Broadcasting: Madden, Hello Somebody, and Gorilla. 3 bangers. You're going to love it. Produced by Deli Boy.
Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you send that stuff to Stingray and let me, because I got to go to work and I can listen to it in the car. But before you go, I know you got to talk to NFL Network. You got this Monday night right now. You've seen this on Tuesday night. This Monday night, he's got to go talk to NFL Network. But I want to share this story. 2012, Hammond, Louisiana. I was an insurance adjuster. I had to go take a class, and I had to go to the mall because my belt broke. So I was in Hammond, Louisiana. You know where Hammond, Louisiana is at. Yeah. So I was going to the mall so I could pick me a belt up. And when I go inside, it was a Sunday. It was nothing but Saints and LSU stuff everywhere. And we just beat we just beat Notre Dame that year.
Yeah,
I mean, not Notre Dame. We beat LSU for the national championship. My bad. It was LSU. It was the Tigers we beat. We beat LSU for the national championship. Les Miles and LSU. We beat them in the national championship. Anyway, so I see Saints and LSU everywhere. And I'm just like, I'm pissed. I'm mad. So I go to my truck and I had like some old clothes and stuff. And I was looking through it. I had an old Atlanta Falcon jersey. It was a Michael Vick old. It was so old that number 7 was coming, it was scratched off. I took my shirt off and I put that on. Then I had that national championship we just beat LSU with. And I put that on and I walked in the mall and I dare somebody to say something to me.
You talking that trash here? Well, you was cool over on the North Show. You and Hammond, they kind of like, all right, well, I like the Saints, but not that much.
Close this great man out. I may not like LSU that much, but damn it, I like this guy. I thank you for coming to the CTS. We're going to watch you on the NFL Network. Listen to before you go, please tell everybody where we can listen to you on the LSU radio and all that good stuff.
Y'all can check me out at BigFave504 on Twitter. I usually post out what I'm about to come on. You can check me out also on the LSU Sports Radio app. We will be getting ready to preview LSU spring game and all of that good stuff. Y'all make sure y'all check out Inside the Trenches podcast on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, wherever you watch a podcast or listen, baby.
Well, man, we have really enjoyed this interview, and I've got another question that Joey always likes to ask. Will you come back and talk with us again?
I will come back and talk with y'all again, man. I had a great time. Thank y'all so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. And be safe this week and enjoy all of the memories from your Super Bowl win with the Saints, my friend.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. Y'all take care. Thanks for having me again.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Thank you. Well, dude, I got to tell you what, we are back live, and Joey, that was a phenomenal interview, if I don't say so myself, and I got to commend you. That was awesome editing, my friend.
Yeah, I know, I did it.
Dude, I was trying to give you a compliment. You're supposed to say, well, thank you.
I don't know.
All right, so
we don't say thank.
Okay.
Thank you, Stingray.
Let me ask you this: what are you doing for the rest of the night?
Probably since I slept till 4 o'clock. Probably staying up and watching Reacher again. Oh, by the way, y'all need to watch that TV show Reacher on Amazon Prime. It's a very good show. I'm telling you right now. I don't know. I'm probably going to be working on CTS stuff. We got a new. Oh, by the way, tomorrow it drops tomorrow. Criminal Athletes, new podcast for the CTS. So check that out. Right now I think it's about the Blade Runner. He killed his girlfriend in the bathroom. So check that out. So that's dropping tomorrow, February 9th. The slaying of the girl happened on Valentine's Day, so it was perfect timing. Well, that's a wrong analogy. It's not perfect timing, but it was a sad story. However, CTS is going to tell you the story of what happened, what led up to it, and it's a new podcast, and we're going to keep this podcast going. Right now, we're working on a new host to come on, and she is incredible. She's one of those people that when she walks in the room, she lights up the room. Why is she doing it? It's kind of like, why would you do a criminal podcast or, something about murderers and bad stuff? But she's nothing like the sort. But, she's a great girl. I think you're going to like her. And she's going to add some elements to criminal athletes that nobody could ever do. So I'm looking forward to that. Stingray, what you got going on?
All right. As soon as we finish this, I'm heading over to my TV, and I'm going to finish watching the last 10 minutes of #1 Auburn on the road at Bud Walton Arena at Arkansas. And Auburn is actually down 3 points right now, under 10 minutes to go on ESPN2. So as soon as we log off, I'm going and seeing if the Tigers can survive again on the road or not.
Well, we came on late and we went over an hour. So thanks again to Clemson Tom, our co-host, he's a very busy man. He's taking his kid all over the country. I keep saying world. Taking his kid all over the country, doing tournaments. That's one hell of a father. I wish I could afford to do something like that, but my son would want to go do classes and stuff. He's not into sports. He's a smart kid. So criminal athletes coming out tomorrow. Stingray, we got Rolling with the Tide Thursday. I think we're gonna do a pre-recorded interview with Ray Hudson, and also a tribute to San Antonio Beard. As everybody know, he was slain this past week, and he was a good friend to the CTS. I talked to him over the phone a couple times. I'm not saying we're not friends or anything. I'm just saying that I talked to him over the phone a couple times. I've met him, interviewed him on the CTS. Great guy, Alabama legend. So we're gonna play a little tribute to him. But with that said, Stingray, go enjoy your basketball game. Tony Barnhart, thank you for coming up and telling us more about what's going on at the Plains. With that said, Stingray, Joey, 3rd and 3, CTS Network. Subscribe. You haven't subscribed. You listen to us on podcasts. Please follow us on Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the freaking YouTube page. Stingray, before I go, I know you got something else to say, then you close us out.
All right, it is now under 10 minutes to go up at Bud Walton Arena. It is 49-46. Auburn is in foul trouble, and I'm fixing to sign off and go watch Auburn and Arkansas.
And we are out. We love you. Have a good day.